So I think one of the things that I figured out about Vita is you end up doing a lot of really random videos. So this video is about advice about living in Japan long term, from somebody who's lived in Japan kind of long term, longer than many but not as long as others. So in case you don't know, living in Japan long term is basically a type of game, right? It is a matter of figuring out what's going on, what people expect, how to produce it, and stuff like that. So in the beginning, it is very important to understand that you don't know the game and you don't know the rules to the game. And really it takes a good 5 years to figure out what the rules are. So when you first get into country, basically you don't know anything. You figure you're just struggling to figure out which way is up, what you can eat, what you shouldn't eat, how to get to work, how to get home from work, where you're going to live, everything, how to pay the bills, all of that stuff. So I would say really, even though after the first year you can become fairly comfortable with how to get around and how to move and how to get daily life to work, generally I would say for the first 5 years, just watch and learn and listen and see what people are doing and see what people who are in positions that you want to move into, like up the ladder, see what they're doing. Really it comes down to the first 5 years is about learn the culture, figure out what's going on, find out what people expect, and figure out how you can best fit into that mold. And as an American, sometimes that's really difficult, but it's a good skill to be able to have, and being able to watch and listen and learn and see how other people are doing the things that you want to do is a very important thing to do. Somewhere between the 5th and the 10th year, you started to move up, you started to be really comfortable with where you're living and what your day-to-day life is and things like that. Everything just kind of starts to feel normal. And at that point, you really have to stop and pay attention to what's going on around you. Somewhere around year 7 to year 10, you're going to really start to be able to do some things on your own. Although at that point, it really still is a good idea to find somebody and find a Japanese person that you're working with and work with them to move their ideas forward. That way you can get a feel for exactly what they're doing, what kind of steps they're taking, and stuff like that. After the 10th year, then you can maybe start to stretch out and kind of feel a little bit more on your own. Now again, these are my experiences. They're not for everybody. I don't know if what I think will fit in your situation. I think though that for the most part, watching and trying to gain a good idea of what's going on around you is really important. Mainly what I want to say is until you have a really good idea of how things are moving around you, just kind of play the game. Learn to do the dance. And I'm not saying quell your personality. I'm saying pay attention to the personalities around you and see how things are being done. And then later on, after you're comfortable, after you really do have a pretty good idea of how the area is moving around you, then you can start to step forward and push a little bit on your own. And I do think it really does take about 10 years. So the 10,000 hours rule kind of works, except when you're living in Japan, it's a different sort of 10,000, right? 10,000 hours is supposed to be about 10 years. Yeah, that's 10 years of work, though. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So that reference is the reference from Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. And I like the book and I don't like the book. There's some good things for it and there's some issues. But it's a great book and you should read it. And I'll try to drop a link down in the thing, or it'll be over on the blog for sure. So I just wanted to put those thoughts out there. Nobody asked for them. And so, but it was just something that's been on my mind for the past couple of weeks, and wanted to put it out there and actually find out what you think about it, particularly for those of you who have been here long term. What do you think of that advice? Do you just watch for, I don't know, like basically the first 10 years. The first 5 years are trying to figure out, watch and see what people are doing so that you can get around. The second 5 years are to figure out what's going on at your particular job. And then I think after that point, depending on who you are and who your personality is, you can either continue to watch or you can really start to push out on your own. Let me know what you think. Comments down below and stuff like that. And I am out of here.